Hello guys and welcome back to Avian's channel. I know what you guys are thinking. What? This is an Avian? Hi, my name is Silver from Silver TCG. I'm another YouTuber on this platform who does Yu-Gi-Oh! But I wanted to do something a little bit special and team up with Avian here to do kind of a content swap. But with that being said, I have my Fluffle deck profile for you guys today. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump on into it. Starting off, we run 3 copies of Fluffle Dog. Fluffle Dog has the effect of if this card is normal or special summoned, you can then search for a Fluffle or Edge-Imp Sabers from your deck to your hand, except for, of course, Fluffle Dog. You can only use each that effect once per turn. Continuing on, we run 3 copies of Fluffle Penguin. Fluffle Penguin has the really good effect of if this card is normal summoned, you can special summon 1 Fluffle monster from your hand. However, its other effect is also really powerful, being able to, if this card uses a material for a fusion summon, you can then draw 2 cards, then discard 1 card. Continuing on, we do run 2 copies of Fluffle Bear. Fluffle Bear just has the effect of, while this card is in the hand, you can discard it to set Toy Vendor from your deck. Then it also has the effect of, if this card is summoned, you can add back a polymerization. However, that effect won't come up that often, but the effect to get to Toy Vendor is really powerful. Continuing on, we do run 2 copies of Fluffle Wings. Fluffle Wings has the effect of while this card is in the graveyard, you can banish this card, then banish another Fluffle from your graveyard to draw 1 card. Then you can destroy 1 Toy Vendor on your field to draw another card. Really powerful just because it allows you to add extra consistency to the deck, and Toy Vendor has an effect once it's into the graveyard, but we'll get to that in just a moment. Continuing on, we do run 1 copy of Fluffle Dolphin. Fluffle Dolphin has the effect of you can target 1 Toy Vendor in your graveyard and set it to your side of the field. And then if you do, send 1 Fluffle monster or 1 Edge-Imp Sabers from your deck to the graveyard. This card also has another effect that if this card is sent to the graveyard as a fusion material for a fusion monster, you can then shuffle into the deck 1 of your fusion spells or polymerization spells that is banished or in your graveyard. You can only use each effect once per turn. Continuing on, I personally run 1 copy of Fluffle Owl. Fluffle Owl is just a walking polymerization by paying 500 life points, or you can add 1 polymerization on normal summon. Really good card. You can only use 1 of those effects though. To wrap up the Fluffle monsters, we do run 1 copy of Fluffle Sheep. Fluffle Sheep just has the effect of if you control a Fluffle monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. It also has another effect that says that you can return 1 other Fluffle monster you control to the hand to special summon 1 Edge-Imp monster from your hand or graveyard. You can only use each effect once per turn. So that's it for the Fluffle monsters. Next, we're going to be moving into the Edge-Imp monsters. Starting off, of course, we run the 1 copy of Edge-Imp Sabers. Edge-Imp Sabers has the effect of, while this card is in your graveyard, you can return 1 card from your hand to the top of your deck, and then special summon this card. Also, this card is the main piece for most of the fusions, so it is really powerful and a must-have in the deck. Continuing on, we do run 3 copies of Edge-Imp Chain. Edge-Imp Chain has the really good effect of, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can search your deck for 1 Frightfur card. So that could be like your Frightfur Patchwork or Frightfur Fusion. But it's a really good card it is a once per turn, sadly, however, still really powerful. But it also does have another effect. It doesn't come up as often, but if this card declares an attack, you can add 1 Edge-Imp Chain from your deck to your hand. So, really good, really powerful, must have 3 of in this deck. Then I run only 2 copies of Edge-Imp Scythe. Edge-Imp Scythe is kind of a fusion card that you can activate on your opponent's turn by fusing using this card in your hand and monsters you control. So that's really it for the Edge-Imp monsters. Pretty standard lineup. I've seen people run 3 copies of Scythe, however, in this deck, we are running 3 Scythe, however, it's just Scythe. For those who are wondering why I'm running Scythe, this deck can still Scythe lock our opponents by being able to get through the Artifact Dagda to be able to set it, and then we have multiple ways to pop it on our opponent's turn. Then it can summon itself back out to lock our opponents from using the extra deck. Alright, continuing on, I do like running this 1 package because it allows it to go first, but that package being, we do run one copy of Frightfur. For those who don't know what Frightfur does, it has the pendulum effect of you contribute one level 4 or lower Frightfur, Fluffle, or Edge-Imp monster on the field to then special summon a fiend from the deck with the same level but different name, which is really powerful because, as we know, Edge-Imp Sabers is a level 3, so you can just summon back Sabers from the graveyard, tribute it using Meister, and summon Lilith, Lady of Lament. Lilith has the effect that you can tribute one dark monster on the field to reveal 3 traps from your deck, and your opponent picks one and adds it to your hand. So that card that we are running is actually Necrofusion. Necrofusion is just a polymerization that you can use on your opponent's turn by banishing the cards from your graveyard. Really powerful, being able to set up a bunch of Fluffles and Edge-Imp Sabers in your graveyard just to be able to Necrofusion into a big monster. And I will show you guys a bit later on what that looks like. Continuing on to the spells, we run 3 copies of Toy Vendor. Toy Vendor has the effect of once per turn while this card is on the field. This is not a hard once per turn, but it is a soft once per turn. You can discard 1 card and then draw 1 card, reveal it, and if it's a Fluffle monster, you can special summon any monster from your hand. However, if it is not a Fluffle monster, you must discard that card. That being said, this card is really good being able to kind of dig through your deck a little bit and maybe put cards in your grave that you want, or if you are lucky, you can special summon a Fluffle from your hand, or any monster for that matter. Continuing on to the main effect of Toy Vendor that makes this deck so powerful is if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can search for 1 Fluffle or Edge-Imp Sabers from your deck and add it to your hand. So again, that is not a once per turn, and it is just pretty much a free Rhoda if it is sent to the grave. That being said, with Rhoda, this card is literally Rhoda for the deck. We run 3 copies of Foolish Burial Goods. The Foolish Burial Goods is ran, of course, to send Toy Vendor to the grave to be able to search. Continuing on, we do run 3 copies of Frightfur Patchwork. For those who don't know what Patchwork does, and obviously didn't play during the Despia format, it says that you can add 1 Edge-Imp monster from your deck to your hand, as well as a polymerization. So that literally is just a free +1 from being able to activate this, and you get 2 cards in return. Continuing on to the fusion spells, we run, of course, 3 copies of Polymerization. Polymerization, it's Polymerization fused from field or hand. Then we run 1 copy of Frightfur Fusion to be able to banish cards from our graveyard to fusion summon. Then, of course, to wrap up the deck, I do run 1 copy of Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial is mainly just to be able to help get wings in the graveyard, as well as 1 copy of Call by the Grave to kind of help to stop our opponents from being able to hand trap us. But that's it for the main deck. Let's go ahead and give a look at the extra deck. Alright, continue on into the extra deck. We do run 2 copies of Frightfur Sabretooth. Frightfur Sabretooth has the effect of when this card is fusion summoned, you can target 1 Frightfur monster in your graveyard and special summon it. And then it also has the other effect of all Frightfur monsters you control gain 400 attack. This card also says that if this card was fusion summoned by using 3 or more fusion materials, it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Continuing on, we do run 2 copies of Frightfur Kraken. Frightfur Kraken has the effect of once per turn you can pop 1 card on your opponent's field, like 1 monster on your field. However, it cannot attack the turn you activated the effect. However, it also has the effect of it can attack twice. So either you can use this effect to destroy a card, or you can attack twice using Kraken. However, that doesn't really matter all too much, because if you go into Kraken, and then activate this effect to destroy a card, then summon out Sabretooth using Kraken, you can just summon Kraken back out from the graveyard, and it can still attack twice. Continuing on, we do run 2 copies of Frightfur Tiger. Frightfur Tiger just has the effect of you can destroy cards on the field, either player's field, up to the number of monsters used for the fusion summon of that monster. It also says all Frightfur monsters you control gain 300 attack for each Fluffle and Frightfur monster you control. This card is the main card that is going to be able to help us get to our Scythe, as well as being able to just clear our opponent's board on their turn using Necrofusion. Alright, continuing on, we do run 1 copy of Frightfur Wolf. Frightfur Wolf just has the effect that this card can attack as many times as the fusion materials used for it. So let's say you were to use 3 materials, it can attack 3 times. Use 5, it can attack 5 times. Pretty good card just being able to close out games. However, there are other options like, of course, Tiger going first to kind of wipe your opponent's board and hit them with the Scythe. And then, to wrap up the fusion monsters, we do run 1 copy of Frightfur Cruel Whale. This card practically is just used for if this card is fusion summoned, you can destroy 1 card on both players' field. That is mainly just for, you would use your Edge-Imp Scythe to summon this, pop 1 card your opponent controls, pop your set artifact Scythe. So really, you have multiple options to be able to get into what you need. However, Necrofusion is still the better option. So that's it for the fusion monsters. Let's go ahead and move on to the links. Starting off, we do run 1 copy of Cross Sheep. Cross Sheep has the amazing effect of if a monster is fusion summoned to a zone that this card points to, you can then special summon 1 level 4 or lower monster from your graveyard. Really not much else that the card is used for besides fusions, obviously, but it is still a really good card. Continuing on, we do run 1 copy of Dagda. Dagda, of course, has the effect of if a card is activated while this card is on the field, you can set a artifact monster from your deck to your field. So that can set to your spell and trap zones. That'll, of course, set your artifact Scythe. Continuing on, we do run 1 copy of Black Lizard Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. The main reason why we run this card is just to be able to have a big body on field that can either banish a card, increase its attack, or attack twice. So, really, don't need to go into too much about it, but still a really good card. And then to wrap up the links, we do run 1 copy of Apollosa for the negations, and 1 copy of Access Code to help us clear out games. So that's it for the links. Moving on to the Xyz, we are only running 2 Xyz monsters in this deck. We run 1 copy of number 38, Hope Harbinger Dragon Titanic Galaxy. This card is just mainly used for the negation effect. However, it can also be pretty good for using it as Lightning Rod, being able to make it the target of an attack. Then, of course, to wrap up the extra deck, we do run 1 copy of Divine Arsenal AA Zeus, just to be able to help wipe boards if need be. Alright, with that being said, that's going to be the end of the video, guys. Be sure to leave a like, comment down below what you guys think of the deck profile, and again, definitely thanks to Avian for letting me be on his channel. He also has a video going up on my channel, so be sure to keep an eye out for that. But with that being said, see ya!